I can use the microphone, I just don't need it. First thing I'm going to tell you all is this. I live with my parents. But here's the most important thing to know. If you're of a certain age, if you're in your middle to late 30s like I am, I live with my parents again. I don't still live with my parents. I live with my parents again. And if you're 35, or you're 38, or you're 32, or you're 40, this is one of the most important things that us early edge of millennials have to say. I don't still live with my parents. I live with my parents again. I ran out of money in Los Angeles. I ran out of money in Brooklyn. I went through an ex-girlfriend's inheritance in Brooklyn because it was fucking Brooklyn. But I live with my parents again, and I'm trying to get my shit back together. But there was a time between when I was laid off from cleaning up dog shit for directors, and now as I am an unemployed comic living in an attic in Little Falls. There was a time when I had day jobs, right? And the weirdest, worst day job I ever had was when I got laid off from the entertainment industry. I was a medical courier for a couple of years in Los Angeles. And the first thing I'm going to tell you about being a medical courier is this. You learn how to shit faster than any human being alive. I am like the fucking Flash. I'm in and out. They're like, what the fuck? Did you wipe your hands? They're still wet, baby. I flushed. I pissed. I shit. 25 seconds. This scared people. They thought I was just shitting my pants, but no. When you're a medical courier, when you're a stat driver, when you got to get the stuff that goes to the lab within 2 hours because somebody's fucking dying, you get real good at shitting fast. Being a medical courier is a weird job because you got these bags and they're full of stuff getting tested, like blood and piss and shit. It's always interesting when you see you're about to go pick up the bag and it says HIV test. And you put on that second layer of gloves just in case. Just in case! You don't want to get AIDS for $9 an hour. Not as a medical courier, not as a porn star. You don't want to get AIDS for $9 an hour. That is some $22 an hour shit. Picking up tumors was fucked up because, like, there weren't standard tumor things, right? It would just be like a Chinese takeout pint. And you just see this thing that, like, kind of looks like a poached egg. But you look closer and you're like, oh, that's a fucking tumor. I'm earning my dollars. But the thing is, the weirdest thing about being a medical courier in LA was when you had to pick up the sperm samples. Now, these weren't sperm samples to, like, go to a sperm bank to knock up some 45-year-old cat lady who wants to have a kid before her eggs dry out. No, these are like, you know, the fertility samples, right? The fertility samples where they find out if, you know, why they can't make a mewling little brat is because of the guy or because of the girl. So it was good because, you know, those things die real fast. So, like, they would have to set appointments, and you would have to pick it up at the place that was real close to the lab and get it there. There was this one in West Hills, out in the western suburbs of LA. It's on the 7th floor. And they'd have the appointment. They'd go, Cicconi, we got wigglers in West Hills! This guy covered in LA Rams tattoos. I guess they mean something again now because they're back in LA. We got wigglers in West Hills! And I'm like, it's great! It was great because, like, half the time the guy was too embarrassed to show up. So you just sat there and you pulled cards out of Golf Illustrated and you fucking wrote a poem or you wrote a joke. Or the guy gets there and he can't bring himself to jack off in the bathroom. Because that's the thing, right? Like, for a medical sample, like if you go to like a sperm bank, they got like a nice bathroom that's been re-cleaned, they got some nudie mags, whatever you're into. It was a shared bathroom with the other offices on the 7th floor. I always wanted to knock on the door of the dentist and be like, if you guys go take a piss, guy probably just jacked off in there. I never did. I was a good corporate citizen. I needed those $9. But yeah, sometimes they send you up there and you wait for the wigglers and it's just like you get a coffee break for 15 minutes. Or the guy's there and you take it and you rush it off to the lab so that those little wigglers won't die. Those professionally named wigglers. But every once in a while, you'd get there right as the guy was bringing the little cup up to the phlebotomist there. And they'd put the cup in a bag, they'd put the bag in another bag with a little heating thing, and they'd put it in like the heated cooler that I have on my side to keep it warm, so the wigglers don't die on the way to the lab. And sometimes you'd have to, this was on the 7th floor, remember? There was only one fucking elevator. Sometimes you'd be going back in the elevator with the guy. And he knows, right? He knows that his warm seed is in his genetic profile. The thing he wants to make babies with is in the cup, in the bag. And you and him are in the elevator. You're standing next to him in this slow-ass elevator in a hospital in LA, and you're looking at each other. What do you say? What does he say? He knows his cum is in this thing on my side. Right there. His wigglers are right there. You don't say nothing to each other. You look at each other. You look at each other real weird, but there's nothing to say. Bing! 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 5th floor, someone else gets in. They look at you. They look at him. They look at you looking at him. They don't know, are those guys going to fight? Are they going to make out? What's going on with you? And you can't just say to him, yeah, he jacked off and it's in this bag on my side. It's real cool, right? You can't say it. And it's the most awkward ride down. It's the most awkward ride down with you and this guy and his fucking wigglers. I will tell you my favorite story about wigglers, though. One time, they call a guy right back after the analysis. And they're like, sir, you're going to have to come back in. We found like strange proteins in with your semen. We think one of your ball muscles is ruptured. We think that you're just shooting out parts of your ball muscles. Something in your scrotum is torn. We have to get you back. We have to run more tests. So the next day the guy goes back up to the 7th floor of the building and he brings his wife and they sit down here and they look at it and they're like, we don't know, we just found these proteins and blah, 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 and we're going to have to run a bunch more tests. So they start running a bunch more tests. Then the next day they call them back in, they're like, okay, what was the problem? Well, here's the thing. We looked closer in the proteins, and the proteins aren't human. Like, what? Like these protein strands, they look like they're from like a horse or a cow or something. The wife goes white. The wife goes white in the face and she goes, I ate a hamburger before. And suddenly it all starts to come together. She snuck into the dirty bathroom on the 7th floor and blew him and spit it into the cup. This young lady had gone to Carl's Jr. beforehand. She got the $5 burger with the jalapenos and the avocados and the creepy guy in the Carl's and Hardee's commercial. Carl's Jr. She got herself a mouthful of Carl's Jr. and some of that $5 burger went in with the wigglers. And they made him think that he'd ripped his own balls out. And this is the thing. Never be a courier. Thank you.